ESPN2's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda. Get in, be moved.
Hi, I'm Mindy McCourtney.
Welcome to Big East basketball here on ESPN2. The Georgetown Hoyas and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. A very important matchup here because as you look at the standings, both teams a couple of games below 500, but still they have their sights set on the postseason. A good run, maybe the NCAA tournament, but at least the NIT. So it's an important matchup here tonight. John Saunders and Bill Raftery. And the last time these two teams hooked up, Ruben Boomshay, center for Georgetown, took the game over.
That's the legacy of Georgetown. Have great centers who can contribute on the offensive end. Ruben Boomshay, a big concern of Kevin Bannon. He's been able to post up. He's a wonderful target. He has the ability to use the little kiss, send it the other way to get their fast break going. But he understands now what shots to take. He's got a jump hook, also the terrific turnaround, jump right, and John Saunders, he can lower the boom.
There's another reason why this thing's going to be fun to watch, because here, what they call the Rack, affectionately so, this is one of the college atmosphere type crowds in the Big East.
I've got a little rash here. We played here a few years ago when I was at Seton Hall. It's difficult. It's energized. It's not an easy place to get it going. And, of course, if Rutgers is behind, it gives them a boost.
You see about 8,500 people when they start to rock this place, and it will fill up tonight. Kevin Bannon recognizes the advantage he has here.
This is, in my estimation, the best place to play in the Big East. I mean, the crowds are just fantastic. I mean, we're a young team and a young program, and they're crazy now. I mean, just wait, for the future. But I mean, they're just unbelievable. It's loud. They understand the game. They're on top of things. They know when we need a little push. A couple defensive stops, whatever. It's to me, it's the absolute best home environment in the Big East.
And for Kevin Bannon tonight, here's a look at his starting lineup. And Eugene Dabney is someone to keep his eye on because Bill is a freshman, a redshirt freshman, and they don't have a lot of size that they actually put in the lineup.
The matchups are going to be a problem all evening long. He's improved. He can play the low post defense. He's got to stay on the floor.
And for the Georgetown Hoyas, a chance, if you haven't seen Lee Scruggs, here's a guy who presents a lot of defensive problems because he's 6'10", he can shoot the three.
A little bit of a small forward mentality, maybe one of their premier shooters from deep, but also an excellent passer, and Boomshay will be the recipient.
And for Craig Esherick, of course, this is his first full season, taking over for John Thompson last year, but he has been at Georgetown longer than anyone, practically 23rd year as part of the program. Been a player, assistant coach, and now is the head coach. And for Kevin Bannon, he knows he has a young squad. He's got a couple of good recruits coming in. He really thinks that he has this program headed in the right direction.
And a lot of people do. He's lost a lot of tough games this year. They're in the hunt a little bit now as they go down the stretch, but he feels he's building towards great success here in New Brunswick.
And as you can see, a 3-2 record against Georgetown, and even though it's only 5 games, aren't a lot of coaches that have winning records against the Hoyas, as they've been a power in the Big East. Well, even way back when you were coaching.
Well, when you speak of power, don't look at me. I contributed to many a success. Unfortunately, it wasn't ours.
So we should have a fun one here again. Very important matchup for both teams, and Greer got the tap and puts it in the hands of Billet.
It looks like the Hoyas. John Saunders, minute.
Indeed, and Craig Esherick said he might mix it up a little bit, but expected to go man-to-man. That's what they did against Rutgers when they beat them earlier.
And now John Saunders, Demetrius Hunter's out there, and putting a little credit where it's due. You thought the addition might calm things down for Georgetown, and they've gone to it late in the season.
Well, Kevin Braswell has that mentality of a two-guard, so put an extra ball handler out there to help things. And there's a travel as Dante Jones picked up the pivot foot. And you can see what happened in the last meeting. We talked to Ruben Boomshay. Not a bad night.
No, not at all. Of course, you 3 blocks, you forget the hurries, the changes. And Jones with that walk, he's got to have a big night. I think he's got a big upside.
And there's Boomshay there, who quickly gets fouled by Eugene Dabney. And again, that's the guy we talked about, the size there. They can't afford for him to get in foul problems.
Got to stay on the floor. Kevin thought he might play some zone, but he also may trap him. They go right back at him. Here's the help. Rashad Kent and the turnover.
And so both teams with early turnovers here. And Jones has it. He's swinging around. Dabney now. Kent wants it down, and there's a kick ball as Scruggs got his foot in the way, so a fresh 35-second shot clock.
Guys don't fake anymore. We just here it comes. Western Union. You get it? Fine.
Believe it. Dump it down to Kent. Goes into the paint and loses the handle. And so back-to-back turnover.
And you give a little credit to Boomshay. His ability to make you do some things quickly or change what you have in mind.
So Braswell brings it up again for the Hoyas. Billet out to meet him. Boomshay setting a little screen there.
And they get him right in the lane. They got him. And this is where Scruggs is tough. Good vision.
Dabney swats the ball away.
A nice bailout play.
Billet now brings it up. Puts it in the hands of Dabney again.
Because Billet doesn't get a lot of looks because of scouting. They're not going to give him an open opportunity.
And make him put it on the floor. Greer with a nice pass down. And Jones gets hammered.
How about Boomshay in the end? That's the one thing, too, that I mentioned the passing, but why foul when you got Rubin back there, John? Lead him to the promised land. But here, the ability defensively to come over and help. Scruggs may have gotten nailed for it, but he shouldn't just let it come because roaming in the rear. 4-4.
And so Dabney winds up on the line. Looking to get the first points of this game in a slow start in a minute and a half. And Dabney is way off the mark with that one. He shoots it at about a 54% clip. Neither of these teams are great free throw shooting teams, although the Hoyas, the guys you're going to be handling the rock near the end of the game, they shoot it pretty well.
And you mentioned Dabney up to 18 minutes a game, so he's got to stay on the floor to help.
He's also battling an ankle injury.
He might get a little nickel dimer in here now. Larry Rose suggesting they stop.
And there's Lee Scruggs for three, and he buries it. Did the same thing against Pittsburgh.
A little nylon. And you want to double off of him. I think you've got to get somebody else to double off. He's a terrific deep shooter. And according to Ronnie Thompson, John's son, felt that when he came in here to contribute.
Dabney with it above the three-point line, steps in. Georgetown really doing a nice job at denial. Now they find Billet.
Well, when you got the big guy, you can gamble a little more in your denial.
Billet goes in, but thinks better of it with Boomshay back there. Dabney puts it up, loses the handle. The Hoyas come away with it. Anthony Perry now. Quick push, takes it to the baseline. Shot comes up short, and then Scruggs goes up, and he gets fouled.
And not a good judgment right there by Anthony in the open floor. And that's where he gets in trouble. He's got to take good shots. But Scruggs able to clean it up and maybe get to the foul line.
And that's number 2 on Dabney. So that's going to get Joel Salvi off the bench. He's getting ready to come in.
A little excitement, a little bit like when you walk in the room.
Like the hairdo.
Well, that's what I like. The hairdo, he informed me today that one of his pals, and they're a little disappointed. The hairdo.
That's right. They changed it. It's a change.
Case of mistaken identity. I said male or female. He said a female friend suggested the look. He's going with it.
You never know which dude is going to show up. So now these guys got to go out and buy all new wigs. That can really mess things up.
It's going to be expensive, but boy, has he made an impact on this program. Salvi, and they get the little nickel dimer by Anthony Perry.
Yeah, well away from the hoop. That'll be his first. As Dante Jones was bringing his ball into play.
And of all the guys in the league, when he steps on the floor, he's a sixth man when you think of it. I mean, there's something going to happen. Some dust, some clutter.
Greer backs up now. Salvi setting the screen. Jones comes up jumping off the mark. Scruggs loses it out of bounds.
Nice play by Greer as he attacked as well. Very mobile, Lee Scruggs. The ability to play little guys and still get to the rim. And that wingspan. What they say, it's Dikembe-like.
Exactly.
The only guy with a longer wingspan in the history of Georgetown.
Greer now running out of real estate. Billet has it. Braswell staying with him. Salvi now into the paint, then back out to Billet. Billet goes in, throws it off the glass, and it's in and good, and he's looking for a foul as well.
A little kiss that he may have had a complaint there. But getting into that area, discarding people.
Perry, Boomshay again wants it, but can't on him, puts it on the floor, then into the hands of Perry, coming up, jumping on the baseline. Double clutched the shot for some reason, and that's why it came up short.
Afraid of it being blocked from the right.
Jones Back out to Kent. They swing it to Billet again.
Tell you, Hunter's done a nice job early on Dante Jones. Can't leave him.
Billet for 3. No good. And Billet will let it fly from out there.
Pretty good balance here. Defense. Where are you going? Easy. That's where you got to use good judgment, Kevin.
Salvi trying to take it the distance, and Boomshay says, this is your house, but it's not going down.
Ooh, you had the trailer there.
Oh, and Perry looking for Scruggs. It's last touch by Rutgers and out of bounds.
Did you think Hunter was going to go to the rim? I thought it was perfect down the lane, Demetrius. But right here, a fast break initiator. The long arm of G-Town's Law, and using the glass to get it going the other way.
Boomshay now spins, and he gets blocked by Salvi from behind. Turnabout, fair play, right?
Yes, sir. Look at the help.
You blocked mine. I'm taking yours out of here as well. Stick around. Back in a bit. Well, Bill, you talked about Joel Salvi, what a spark he is off the bench, and Kevin Bannon recognizes what he has.
Well, he's everything to our program. I mean, he's come in here and done just everything humanly possible. Just pours it all out every time he laces up his sneakers. Great ambassador for the program, and you wish you could bottle what he has, because if every player showed that kind of passion and determination, you know, everybody would reach their potential. He's just been an absolute pleasure to coach.
And he thinks he can shoot the 3 as well.
Kevin and he really don't get along at all when it comes down to it. Here's the deflection by Salvi. And the reason I say that, the argument is, hey, coach, I block shots. I contribute in any way I can. I'm all over the floor. I'm leading the Big East in three-point percentage. He is. He's 50%. Albert Morning's at 47%. My eyes are right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Joel's only got 4 for 8.
Scruggs turnaround won't go. Boomshay had the rebound. Now he and Kent hit the deck, and the crowd responds. Salvi running the floor and drops it in.
How about the look and the body control by Joel Salvi? A lot of guys would have had a skimmer or been out of bounds. Great control.
And that last little collision may have started to get this crowd into it. They were a little quiet to start. Boomshay gets fouled, and Kent, hit with that foul, who's still got his arm in the air as if to say, wait a second, this is where it was.
He's done a nice job rooting him out. That's a little longer jump shot than I'm sure Craig Esherick would like. But Ruben stood up, elevated, and a little body rub by Rashad Kent.
Boomshay, who's gotten stronger and stronger this season, Bill. A lot of people forget that his freshman year, he only played 6 games because of a broken wrist. So even though he's a junior, this is really coming into his own, almost like a sophomore season.
Yeah, he's had his troubles physically. But also, I think when you've got so much talent and speed around you, you forget the big guy once in a while. And that's, over the years, you think it would happen with Patrick a little bit and Alonzo, because guys are good enough to make or create their own shot. You forget about paying homage to the big guy.
Yeah, Othello Harrington probably went through it more than anyone, with Allen Iverson there. And
how about that rebound?
And Scruggs had his hands on it, but couldn't hold on to it, so Billet goes to work.
Yeah, that is an interesting analogy there, Allen and Othello.
Both been pretty good as pros, though.
They sure are. Look at the great denial by Braswell. He knows Billet's going to use those post rubs.
Jones swings, and Burton cut him off. Salvi from outside, short, and Scruggs has the rebound.
Only a 2-point shot, I might add.
That's right.
Kevin?
He's making sure he's inside that arc. Boomshay draws a double team and gets fouled again. And the crowd can't believe it. Looks like Kent picks up his second, and so Boomshay is really rolling up the fouls.
And John, watch how smart he is too. Away from the double. He sees it coming over his right shoulder. Salvi's got to run another 3 feet. He gets a chance to either convert or get to the free throw line, occasionally both.
And so Ruben goes to the line, and Kevin Bannon has not agreed with the last 3 calls, including an out-of-bounds play.
Well, it's your home court, and they certainly take advantage of this building, and they don't have the depth up front, and that's the concern. Rashawn, and you mentioned Dabney with the 2. It limits them.
Yeah, they're going to bring Kareem Wright into the game, which is the 3rd big man they're going to throw at Ruben Boomshay. Portland Freeman on the floor for Georgetown. Wright averages about 2 points and 2 rebounds a game, so they're going deep into the bench early to try and You know, you figure you got 3 big guys. That's 15 fouls you can throw at him.
The difference with Georgetown, Boomshea can nail free throws. Here's the little pressure. Straight up man.
Jones picks up the dribble. Greer with it now. Matt Burton picks up the foul as the crowd responds as if to say, what took you so long?
Well, you saw Bob Mulcahy, the athletic director, on the way in. And he's just charged up. He's got the red tie. I'm looking for a red jacket out of Bob. But he's put all the red paint and created an even greater atmosphere in this building.
I thought he wanted to play. That's what he looked like. He was intense.
I was going to give him a little instrument.
Jones comes up shooting out for the crossover. No good. Freeman gets the rebound, clears some room, and then gives it to Braswell.
And they're going to try and light up Boomshea in the half court. I think this is the adjustment that Craig has made with this team. Nice drop step.
Freeman from the outside, no good. Burton keeps it alive and grabs it. Finds Braswell. Billet right out on him. Braswell behind the back and pulls it out.
Well, look at the duck in and get the double. Good hustle by Sally. He wants the timeout. They give it to him?
No.
They have control. Oh, come on. It's home court.
I don't think so. They're about to hit the deck.
Joel with the headband, you know where he is. But the duck in here, pass a little late and a little far. Look at how he just bangs and hangs. And not a bad idea. Mike Tirico hates that play, by the way.
They're calling the timeout?
The timeout. He thinks they're going to change it.
I agree with Mike 100%. Georgetown's missed their last 6 shots from the field.
You agree with Mike simply because he can get you on all the great golf courses.
He hasn't hooked me up yet.
Look at this breakdown of defense.
Past the Hunter, and he gets fouled by Jones.
Yeah, Dante Jones snuck a peek. Right now, Georgetown's solid in their execution. And unfortunately, Rutgers not reacting as well defensively as Kevin Band. This almost dictates zone at some point because of the fouls.
To go back to that calling the timeout when you're in the air or going out of bounds, to have possession of the ball, you must be on the ground, the way I look at it. Look at the team fouls.
You know, for a guy that was an All-American in hockey, I don't value your judgment entirely.
In my mind, maybe.
Well, all Canadian.
All Pine.
If I said all Canada, that would even be higher praise, right? In that sport?
Exactly.
To see Dante get some looks, too, Johnny. Very talented performer.
Georgetown makes you work so hard on every possession. Greer goes baseline. Look at the 3 New Jerseys right there. He finds Salvi. Great find by Greer.
Find him. The guy's got a little magic. And Greer got whacked a little bit, but the presence to kick it out.
Well, that's the key right there. You're right, absolutely right. He went in there and didn't try and force anything up.
Look at this post up again.
Jameel Watkins this time, right all over him. Watkins in a little trouble. Somebody to come to the ball. And he beats the 5. Braswell now open, launches, well off the mark. Salvi with the rebound.
Take anything up for grabs. Joel is going to be in the mix.
And Rutgers looking to take the lead or tie without going to be a tie, and it is.
Unbelievable. Little ball fake. Well, Kevin's comments, the great respect he has early in the year on a voice bite. I heard Kevin say, I don't care what he wears, what he looks like. He just brings so much energy to the program and love of the game.
Braswell just jump stops. They thought he walked, the crowd did, although I think the crowd doesn't believe anything's going on.
Not right now. I think they got to contain the dribble, though. Don't jump at him on every fake.
Billet now, and Braswell in his shorts. Salvi sees an opening, swings it out. Right, couldn't handle it, gets it back. A little 3 seconds.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. And Greg Escherich saying to Donnie, everybody call it 3. Eddie Spriggs up there with that deep voice. 3, Donnie.
There are a lot of guys refereeing from the sidelines in this game.
Well, it's that time of year. Guys know how important each game is. It contributes to the NIT or the NCAA, one way or the other. With these two,
as we mentioned, somebody would have to get hot of these two teams to think about the NCAA. Scruggs loses it out of bounds, and those unforced errors that can drive you nuts. But it is not impossible for one of these teams to get on a roll. Don't forget now, coming up after this game is done, Sir Valiant Brown, he's leading the nation in scoring, and this guy's a lot of fun to watch. Both teams, of course, chasing Dayton in the Atlantic 10 West Division. GW is number 2, so a very important game. There's Sir Valiant Brown. You had a chance to see him play at all, Bill?
Yeah, yes, I have. In fact, I watched the other day. Tommy's got them playing there. I'm sure he's a little happier with their play of late.
Absolutely.
Had a little lapse a couple of weeks ago. He's fun. He's a little magical.
Jones towards the paint, throws it up, won't stay down. Look at that. Salvi keeps it alive. Boomshay with the block. But Salvi had no business getting that rebound.
And that's what he does. He just amazes you. And here, a little giveaway. He almost gave one, too.
Perry comes out of there with it.
Now, you got to meet Georgetown's feistiness. The double late.
Scruggs for 3. Well off the mark.
The run out.
Salvi is ahead of the pack again. Gets it up. Scruggs was back there to change the shot. Good effort on defense. The crowd waiting for the whistle. This crowd's going to be fun tonight.
Oh, not a bad idea. Maybe a little harsh delivery, but nice look by Braswell.
6th turnover for the Hoyas, but they lead by 2.
Big.
Approaching the midway point of the first half. John Saunders and Bill Raftery here. The Hoyas with a 2-point lead. We talked about Joel Salvi and the hairdo that he explained to you, and he's had various over his career at Rutgers as a senior. Now that's starting to get a little interesting. Then a little with the braiding, and of course he also comes with the afro.
How did that man sneak in there? The Broncos of Western Michigan.
Oh, my.
John Saunders then, and John. He's still giving up gold. They call him red light.
Thanks a lot, guys. Oh, my goodness. You know,
we'll get the headband for you.
Oscar Gamble was my hero at the time. It's,
oh, the great outfielder. It was. It was.
Oh, all right, you guys got me. That's a good one.
My hair's been in style for many a century.
And one color as well.
Yeah, same.
Salvi with it now, looking to drive to the baseline. Billet outside the 3. He took 12 threes against Pittsburgh. Jones, nice jump along the baseline, knocks it in, plus the foul.
While you're sitting on the sideline, if you're Kevin Bannon, you've got to find some post-up shots. How about this? Dante Jones, who does possess a little aggression. Nice little kiss at the end, but this is how you get it. Nice seal off. Good opportunity basket, but more of that necessary. His right does a great job holding off.
So Demetrius Hunter checks back into the game. Chance for the lead, won't stay, and Scruggs gets the rebound. Braswell going to walk the ball to the floor now. We'll see if they go right at Boomshay again.
Would you suggest it's Rutgers style, even though they like to run, getting this slower pace? Got to kick it out in traffic.
Scruggs outside the arc, puts it on the floor now, turns around, dumps it down to Boomshay. Boomshay goes up shooting and drops it in.
He's an unerring shooter, and you can't elevate high enough to deter. A good play by Scruggs with the bailout.
And Wright now puts it on the floor, and then looking for help. Perry reaches in and knocks it away.
It's interesting to listen to Craig Esrig. He said, you know, Anthony's not shooting as well, but he's still guarding and doing an excellent job on the defensive end. A great denial there. Looking for that consistency on the offensive end.
Well, Wright and Jones check back to the bench.
Is there 1-4 look? Flare screen. They're just really not organized on this trip now. The change of the lineup.
Billet now. Shot clock is at 2. They don't beat it.
There should be any goal. Yeah, they do call it. Bobby Donato on top of it. Kevin wants that quick hitter.
Georgetown seemed to confuse Rutgers with that last defense. Perry dumps it down to Boomshay. An offensive foul they're going to call this time.
I'll tell you what, he sort of carved an area. You know what the problem with Rutgers right now is? They're not really doing a job on the passer to the post. So it's just a direct look.
Right.
You got to bail out your post defender a little bit. Harass that pass to the post.
So Jameel Watkins is going to come back in as Boomshay with his first foul goes to the bench. And you can see the turnovers versus the field goals. If this stays this way, it's going to be a long night for both of these coaches. Flores now. Hunter reaches in, almost has the steal. And then again, the crowd looking, wondering where the hack was. Greer dumps it down, Dabney goes, and he gets fouled by Jameel Watkins.
Got to catch the ball, though, John. I mean, catch it clean, you got yourself a layup. But this crowd does get after each and every small change situation. Well, that's the advantage, though. You might get a couple. The Rutgers team trying to match numbers now with Georgetown, too. They're deep bench and a lot of rotation by Craig Esherick. You guys can get fatigued.
You see the free throws. Rutgers drops that one in. Dabney.
Craig mentioned Red Auerbach.
That's right.
It's interesting.
Starting your best offensive team, getting it going. That's why he made the changes in the starting lineup. Getting Demetrius Hunter in there for Victor Sanic, who is a...
Kiss me once or kiss me twice. It's been a long... Well, Red Auerbach used to pop in. Of course, he was John's coach up in Boston with the Celtics. And there again, look at the easy entry.
Boomshay into the paint. The jump hook well too strong. And it's the last touch by Georgetown, so it's Rutgers ball. They'll have a chance to take the lead again.
Braswell returns for the Hoyas, replacing
Kevin Braswell comes back in for Hester. Again, Billett's in some trouble now getting the ball in. Does get it to Greer, who gets it across the timeline.
And look at that, really tough on Greer. He's finally get Braswell for the small change and the ridicule as well. But at some point, Kevin had to just back off a little because he had him under control. Just back off, reposition yourself. The fans want you to say something.
Yeah, they're turning around looking at us like we have a whistle or something. Only those guys have the whistles. Lee Scruggs comes in for Victor Sanic.
Jeff Greer will shoot 1 and 1.
And you see Greer.
How about the schoolyard play between he and his brother? Brother having a terrific year. In Pittsburgh, even though the last couple of games with Georgetown, they had their problem, I just am so impressed with what they've been able to do, hang in games. And that's a program down the road. Ben Allen just getting things done his way. Brandon Knight, outstanding guard, and going to be a terrific leader for him as they progress, get new recruits in.
And for Georgetown, look at this is the third straight game they've had to face a Greer. As they played their last 2 games against Pitt, had a week off in between them, but before that had a stretch of 4 games in 7 days.
A little different style, Greer. 3-point shooter, not that his brother can't. Also a little more of a nice cut, give and go, huh?
Oh, and a nice block, though, coming over. Jones, I think, got a piece of that.
Rutgers got to get the juice flowing a little bit here. Get the crowd rolling. Have it pass underneath if he wanted. Oh, Greer.
Nice rebound by Scruggs, and then into the hands of Braswell. Into all kinds of traffic down there. Tough pass. It's a kick ball. Salvi and Braswell getting a little... Let's see. This is my ball. This is... And finally just come in and give it to the officials and get out of the way.
John, the conversion from a shooting guard to running the show is so difficult. And Kevin Braswell, slowly he'll do some things, but he's got to understand time, space, tempo, who to give it to, when to give it. And when he does that, I just think he's got a big upside. He can score.
Braswell gets fouled. And if that's on Dabney, that'll be his 3rd.
I think they may have given it to Brown. I'm not... No?
Yeah. Renardo Brown picks it up. Again, showing how deep that Kevin Bannon has to go in the bench. When you coach, that really is the case that you might say play 5 or 6 guys one night against one team if they only play 5 or 6, and the other next night 10 guys.
Well, it's almost your pace, though, what you're used to doing, don't you think? Back when Carolina and Dean Smith had that extraordinary depth, he'd rotate, maybe have a defensive team, the blue team, things like that.
Right.
I think it's all style.
Brown now trying to clear some space. Hunter doing a nice job moving his feet to stay with him. Brown to Jones on the baseline, and he almost lost it.
Yeah, right by the sidelines. How dangerous, and ends up in a turnover. Let's see, they're saying
they're going to give it back to Rutgers. As it last touch by Scruggs, but again, the defensive pressure causing problems, but Rutgers has a 1-point lead. And welcome back, where Rutgers has grabbed a 1-point lead over Georgetown. I want to remind you, doubleheader tomorrow. We start things off in the Big East. Syracuse, they lost 3 of the last 5 games, and Villanova is a team that needs to run a few together to have a chance to get to the tournament. Then it's to the ACC. North Carolina trying to avenge an earlier season loss to Florida State when they were struggling. Now, you talk about the Big East. How many can they get, Bill? I mean, can they get 6?
Well, I'll tell you what, no matter what happens, I think the next 2 weeks, a couple of teams have to roll the table, and they get the hole here. Is this on Hunter? I mean, the RPI is something, and I can't speak for the committee, but the RPI is something that gathers the teams together. I'm not so sure it's as important once they're in the room as to what's been going on lately, who have they beaten lately, who's been injured, who's been out. All those things then are added up. Strength of schedule is very essential. So for me, I just think, from what I've seen, the Southeastern Conference is the best. So that should be the criteria, I think, for the rest of the country. That's at least from my seat. I don't know if the committee would agree with that.
Well, the strength of your conference does enter into play, and right now the Big East is not having one of the great years as far as the strength of conference. He dropped it down as far as 7 at one point. So.
And UConn struggling now, which certainly was a power team for them. And you got to put it in 2 hands there, Kevin. Protected on the hip. You got a chance for 3. Now, there's a team that could get organized, though, UConn. They have been struggling in getting their heads together. Right here, you see, you just got to protect that pill. Somebody's going to jar you. Somebody's going to scrape from the side. But would you agree? I mean, they are not playing up to their ability.
No, well, we did the game against Seton Hall last week, and they won that game, but they looked very, very lethargic on offense in the first half. And the game was in the 20s in the first half. Portland Freeman coming back in for Georgetown, and Scruggs goes to the bench. But no, they do not. I still think not enough has been made about the fact that Ricky Moore is not on that team. Everybody talks, of course, about Rip Hamilton, and he's a very important part of it. But Ricky Moore was a stopper. He could fire them up the defensive pressure. He would get the offense going. So,
but you know what, John? You can't look back now. I mean, that's maybe part of the difficulty. Maybe somebody's looking for somebody to becam a stopper outside. Kevin Freeman's playing big guys, little guys. I think it's a team that the seniors have to step up, take over. In the last couple of weeks, I mean, they could do a heck of a job come tournament time, but it's all in the head, I think. Collectively, they're going to get themselves organized.
Greer into the paint and finds Salvi. His jump shot is no good. Bumshay loses it. It comes to Greer, and he gets fouled.
And that's what they have to do, be feisty on the glass. Attack the tin. A little bit of size there. Playing much smaller with Freeman as the power forward. Bumshay, the other contributor, but challenge and just get those white shirts on the tin. I mean, pretty good protection, good athleticism for Rutgers, too, so they can get back and balance the floor.
And Rutgers has their last 6 points, make it 7 now from the free throw line. And they have a 3-point lead. And get some changes again.
And the rotation continues. Are they just for Georgetown? I would assume so.
Mike Thompson is into the game for Rutgers for the first time tonight. So again, extremely deep along that bench. And now that's 8 straight from the line for Rutgers. And Georgetown is now down by 4. Braswell goes back to work on the offense. Perry with it now.
Makes some of those guys strong around the tin. Got a lot of minutes early in the year. A little shove on Braswell as he got to the rim.
One of those late calls, too.
Tell you what, they're going to lose the P's and the whistle before this baby's over. Nice little ball fake. You can see right in here, maybe a little discard at the end. They give it to Thompson, I assume.
So Braswell goes to the line. Both teams are well over the limit now. Neither team has scored a field goal in the last 3 minutes and 21 seconds.
There hasn't been a flow established in either end. One of the things I think with Georgetown, if you're playing them, is make them guard a little bit. And get them, the big guys, to move away from the rim. And you get some back cuts, and particularly when they only play the one center, you don't have that dominating figure or figures under the basket.
Georgetown again coming with a full court pressure. Perry steps up, and that caused a problem for Brown, but Billet came to him.
But that was close to the John Thompson little run and jump here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That particular play.
Thompson with it now. Hoyas swarming on the defensive end now. Greer puts it on the floor, goes to the baseline, has it rejected by Samnick.
Oh my goodness.
Freeman,
yeah, very active.
Rejection. Braswell comes up gunning, well off the mark. Scruggs with the rebound, throws it up and hits the side. Probably should have brought that one back out. Greer now, as Rutgers wants to run a bit. Flores for a three and buries it.
Kevin said today he'll give you some offense. He goes in there. Brown brings defense to the floor. Flores, an offensive mentality. 2 bad shots by Georgetown last year. Kevin Braswell, and then we mentioned the big guy down there, Scruggs.
First field goal by other team in 4 minutes.
Nice set here. They got a lob if they lift.
Braswell looks to drive, goes into the paint, plus the foul.
Now that's going to come to him if he's just patient. He's got explosivity. He's got a good feel to get a defender on the hip. It's just a matter of letting it happen. Get others. They ran a screen away in this set. And here's the blow-by with a little authority. Kevin, a little razzle-dazzle.
And Thompson picked up his second quick foul there. The Hoyas making some changes too as Boomshay returns. Reese Gibson comes in as well.
You know, also in this kind of game, if you're Rutgers, you've got to match fouls too. You've got to get some healthy bodies for the second half.
Good point. Braswell converts a three-point play, and we'll get one more change. Braswell goes to the bench, and Demetrius Hunter, the freshman, comes back.
Now, have you heard John Thompson's radio show, by the way?
I've been on it.
Well, I'm talking about some exceptional acts. Well, he's into the whole broad spectrum, right? Not just athletics.
Absolutely.
Which, obviously, you're a man of all seasons.
We talked about many things the night I was on, and there's Ronnie, of course, played for his dad at Georgetown. He's a guard.
The legacy goes on. Very instrumental in some of the new recruits. We're excited about the future, too. And, you know, we always talk about following somebody that's so established. Think of Wooden. His name always comes out. Pete Carrill.
Right.
John Thompson. What
a
hard job for a guy like Greg Escherich after what's transpired.
Very tough. The only thing, you know, you think of Bill Guthridge as well, who's a third-year assistant to Dean Smith and had some problems this year. Well, it's almost as if no matter what you do, short of winning a national championship, it's almost like it's not quite good enough.
Yeah, fall short. You're compared always to the luster.
But when you're able to keep that line, which is what the Hoyas have done by giving Craig Escherich a job, keep that line going, it's almost as if the pedigree remains the same.
And I think he's learning himself, too. I mean, there's certain things that John did that he'll stay with. And as the years progress, he'll get a little of his personality into what's done. A little zone. Nice one.
Back outside for Hunter, who launches a three, well short. Bounces around. They're looking for Billet ahead of the pack. Nice pass.
Sure was.
Flores puts it on the floor, dumps it into Thompson, and he gets fouled. Good ball movement by the Scarlet Knights.
And Victor Samnick in the offside there just reached in. But a nice play by Georgetown at the one end and in the counter to kick out by Kent. Sort of leading the Billet to the other end.
What we're looking here tonight as Thompson goes to the line, you're looking at a couple of teams that are in the hunt right now for the NIT, but I think what you're also seeing, because of the youth on both teams, because of a couple of recruits coming in, are teams that are going to be pretty good, if not very good, next year or the year after.
Lemenzano from St. Patrick's Elizabeth, one of those guys that Rutgers hopes changes the NIT to NCAA. Outstanding player for Kevin Boyle up at St. Pat's.
Thompson back irons the last one. Flores chases it down.
Play on.
Almost got it, but Burton was able to reach in and grab it. Scruggs now into the paint, hangs, looks strong on the iron, tipped a couple of times. Scruggs, I think, got his hand on that one.
Yeah, both in there too. Boomshay as well. That's what Scruggs can do. Can beat you. He's very versatile.
3-point game here. Billet, the freshman.
See if Rashawn Kent can do something with the big body. Look at the double by the big guy. Nice space out by Thompson. Huh?
Yep.
Wow. Nice play by Kent too. Didn't panic with the double.
Good minutes for Thompson off the bench, who only plays about 11 minutes a game. Coming in and giving him a real offensive lift. Boomshay dumps it down to Burton.
Back to the man. Let's see. No, they're into the zone. Excuse me. Little matchup.
Shot clock is down to 8. Braswell goes to work. A little floater, no good. Thompson with the rebound. Billet now. And the foul on Demetrius Hunter.
Move the feet and don't foul. And that's the one thing. I think Georgetown can get better defensively if they don't foul. But right here, the ability to draw, and look at the space. They lift. A nice deployment by Kevin Bannon here. And a nice little nylon stroke. And you mentioned 11 minutes a game. He's a good post feeder, Mike Thompson. A lot earlier. Played a lot more earlier, John.
Billet at the free throw line knocks that one down. His brother Jeff, of course, the #9 all-time scorer in Rutgers history. So a lot of brothers don't want to mess with falling up. It's their older brother. There's the parents.
They've had a lot of what, 8 years they'll have watching their boys. Jeff is now down at Monmouth College as an assistant coach. Nice high-low. And the push, got away with it.
Yep, sure did. Thompson, no foul, and it's a turnover.
At least Scruggs is smiling as he goes back. Good personality. He knows what happened. Just getting a little bit stronger. He can withstand this little discard. Ew, New Zealand style, huh? That's not the butterfly.
Thompson right out of the Kiwi country. And Billet, as the Hoyas back off the full court pressure, picked up by Hunter.
The same little play, the lift.
Thompson driving and gets the foul. Victor Samnick rather, with the foul.
And if you're Craig Esrick, you're turning to the assistant saying, who's this guy? You didn't tell me about him. We went through the top 8. I'm sure he's not saying that because they look at so much tape, they know everybody. And they go all the way back to the beginning of the year with confidence and working hard in practice, giving an opportunity to do some damage. BYU as well, I believe, right? I think he attended there.
Yes. It's quite a journey from New Zealand to Utah, back to Piscataway.
That's how big the game has become, by the way. And international teams going there, Big Ten touring teams, Pac-10, guys going all over the world. I think they have a little blood situation, therefore they're going to take one of the players out. Who's over there? Is that Samnick?
Let's see. Yeah, it looks like. Got popped in the nose.
Now they're going to get the janitor some work. I think there's probably a little spillage on the floor.
So the officials need a timeout. There it is right there.
Basketball's tough. Don't tell me about hockey. Look at the blood out there.
I don't see any stitches yet. Victor Samnick, who picked up the foul, also picked up an elbow to the nose. And there's a mascot saying there's stuff on the floor and it's not pink.
Well, it's below his dignity to bend down and clean up. You can just see here the giveaway and just recoiling as he grabbed hold of the schnozzle. And if you played this game, that happens during the course of your career. So it looks like he's okay. Laurie Michael attending to him, long-time trainer for Georgetown. and I'm sure you'll see him back.
The ultimate insult. You pick up the foul, and you're the one with the sticks up your nose.
Is that the truth? Right here, you can see the struggle. Georgetown. And one thing, Craig Esherick, folks that follow Georgetown say, can't guy, they don't make shots. Well, he has dedicated practice 3 different segments to just shooting to improve in that category. And in looking or viewing the recent games, they have played much better basketball than they did. Now, this game is back a little bit where they're fouling on the defensive end and maybe not getting the pace of the game in their favor.
And Thompson knocks that one down. But, well, let me ask you, as a coach, did you ever, when you had a high defensive pressure, you played a lot of strong defense, running people in and out, does it make it any more difficult at the offensive end because of the expense that you're doing at the defensive end?
Well, you know, we never had the luxury of a deep bench. No, I'm not belittling us, but I do think that on occasion the offense does suffer because you're putting different faces in. Now, what guys do, they'll sub at the same position with the same guy if they can't have that consistency. And Braswell takes care of Baldy. Matching up.
Braswell with 11 points now. It's the Hoyas back to within 6.
No backdoor and a guard around. See, everybody scouts so well. I mean, you've got to execute. Even here, Greer used to get the open look, but just to pop out.
Billet comes up gunning and knocks it in.
And you got to stay consistent with him. He'll peck away at you. Little nylon.
Hunter with it. Burton along the baseline, keeps his dribble alive and comes up shooting and knocks it in the lane.
Not too bad, huh? Well, first time I saw him, I'm thinking, well, maybe he'll run the show, but he could fill it up, too.
Yep. Picks up Billet, and now Greer with Burton on him.
And Hunter trying to be physical with Billet. They switch automatically, little.
Kent now Boomshay right there with him. A couple of number 44s, tries to force it up. Nothing doing. Another one goes up, and finally Scruggs with the rebound.
Twin Towers, 1 out.
Braswell again gunning, knocks it in.
Wow. And he had guys at the rim. He makes the deep 3, the pull-up. Man, the judgment's okay. 1, you make it, which keeps the coach happy, but you got the 2 big guys at the rim. Defense backing off. How about the self-control there, huh? In balance with the stroke.
Waits inside, clears a little space for himself, and knocks it down. Hoyas now back to within 4. Georgetown has shaved the Rutgers lead from 9 down to 4. I want to remind everybody that when halftime rolls along, we'll go to ESPN News with Dave Feldman and Kevin Cork. They'll have Auburn, number 8, against Alabama. Should be a good matchup, even though Alabama's struggling this year. The ACC in action, and Darryl Strawberry has tested positive for cocaine again. That's tough news.
Sure is. His troubled career. You just hope he gets his life organized. Kick away here.
Now, as we take a look at the bench scoring, here's something you don't expect to see for a team that runs in as many players as Georgetown, but they have yet to have anybody off the bench score. Hunter comes up gunning with the miss. Thompson with the rebound, who's looked great.
Well, he sure has. Give me some minutes, coach. That's what he's saying right now. And good deflection. Ooh, good clear out by international style Thompson.
Stepped over so Greer could come to the ball. Billet now.
Georgetown makes it hard for you to run your stuff. Here's a stack set and nice space, too.
Leaning by Flores won't go as it is blocked right back into his face. Hunter to Braswell for 3. Off the mark again and turned over as Scruggs couldn't hang on to it down there with big Kareem Wright.
Hey, you got to know who you're going up against, too. You drive into that lane with big people around. Flores got to use a little better judgment.
Georgetown showing a little zone here.
Little 2-3. Long on the wings.
Thompson almost loses it. Flores drives, gets a rainbow, and knocks it in.
Well, he figured it out. Learned his lesson. Pull up and don't get too deep. And once again, Kevin gets away with that little kiss. He thinks offense, huh?
Oh, yeah. He's got some offense going right with 15 points for Braswell. Under a minute to go here. Greer now under the baseline to right.
You got to tag Billet. A little screen in.
Billet comes up gunning from 3. No good. Kept alive. The foul is going to be on Thompson.
I thought you could just play on there. Good aggressive play in 3.
Didn't seem to be a lot of contact that affected anything. Georgetown was going to come away with the ball.
And number 3 on Mike Thompson. And right here, just good aggressive play. Maybe a little banging, but that's part of the tribulations of being around the 10. Of course, Craig agrees wholeheartedly with the call.
Yeah, so the Hoyas, Ruben Boomshay goes to the line. No, he's not going to the line. It'll be Nat Burton. Thompson is 3rd foul. Boy, they're gonna look at Braswell has 15 and the rest of the team is 15 for the Hoyas.
Salvi's going to get Thompson out, I think. He's played well. Save him a little bit in case he's needed in the second half.
And Braswell goes to the bench as well for the same reason. And then Hester comes in.
And, John, this is one of those situations. Do you set it up and go out, get him, make the free throw, see if you can get yourself right back in it, or do you set him?
There's a 30-second timeout called.
Victor Semnick.
So we will find out. Victor Samnick's going to check back into the game for Nat Burton. And don't forget what's coming up Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Time. NC State, Wolfpack lost 5 straight games, but this is going to be a tough game for them because Bobby Cremins, his final season, we found out this week. For more on college shoot, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. But I got to tell you, Bill Digger and I talked about this. Bobby Cremins did it the right way. He's a classy guy. He's a nice guy. He's a great coach. And really, when you look at what's happened in his program, he's been a victim of his recruiting success.
The last
he brings in all of these star players that stay around for a year and leave. Marbury, of course, Kenny Anderson stayed a couple of years. He's had so many guys come in that people say, well, geez, he's a great recruiter. How come he hasn't won a national championship?
Well, Pharrell, Scott, Oliver, you name it. I mean, rookies of the year every year. Dalrymple going way back to those days, and he'll sorely be. He's just one of those genuine human beings that coaching needs, and the positive influence on players. Every kid that you ever talk to, Fred Vincent up in Seattle now, just loves the guy, and so there's a little more to it than just the X's and O's.
He's going to be missed in the coaching ranks if he doesn't resurface again. We're thinking about you, though, Bobby. Final 12 seconds here, and Rutgers decides to go to work now. And Salvi's well away from the bucket. Flores into a crowd. Greer for 3, short. Oh, and it's back up. That was an amazing tip by Flores. Got up in the air with the left hand. Threw it back in the hoop. Came up short, but Rutgers, the home crowd is happy right now. Down in the intermission, and they lead it 34-31. The second half is coming up, but right now, let's go back. Welcome back to the rack here in Piscataway, New Jersey, where Rutgers has a 3-point halftime lead. A look at the leading scores. Kevin Braswell has 15 of Georgetown's 31 points. When you throw Scruggs into there, the two of them combined for 22 of the 31. Meanwhile, Rutgers really moved it around. 8 players scored, and Flores has 7 points to lead all scorers. Salvi and Billet also have 6, so the top 2 scorers for Rutgers come off the bench. Stick around. The second half is coming up in just a moment. Back here at the rack, where Rutgers has a 34-31 lead over the Georgetown Hoyas. John Saunders and Bill Raftery. And when you look at the statistics of this first half, both teams shooting in the 30% range, which is not going to get a lot of offense. However, Rutgers was able to get to the line quite a bit.
I'm going to foul you. I think they both have to stop the fouling, particularly when you think of Georgetown. If they could just play good position defense, lead them to the big guys, block shots, hurries, get that flow going for them, it would be very conducive. And I think you counter that with Rutgers. I just think they've got to run a little more half-court offense to get those good open looks.
Well, you see Georgetown making 11 free throws and Rutgers making 4 more. That's basically the difference in the game. There's a 3-point differential right now. But of concern, I would think, for Craig Escherick is the fact that Ruben Boomshay, who controlled the game last time out with the double-double, He is struggling tonight.
1 for 6 and maybe not enough touches and not handling the double as well as they would like. But the feeling out process is over. Maybe a little smoothness will happen in the second half.
Well, it's also interesting because in the early parts of this game, they went right to Boomshay to get some of the Rutgers players in foul problems. It was working, and they had to back it off a little bit because Rubin wasn't cashing anything in.
And Scruggs with the matchup with Kent. This is the problem. He can drag him out. He can shoot it. And he can't help Kent on the box.
Braswell to the baseline. He gets fouled quickly. Go ahead, say it.
Oh, my goodness. Come on, guys. Take a deep breath. Let's take 2 whistles away.
Dante Jones picks up his second.
Were you looking for nickel diamond?
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
Okay. I had said it a few times earlier. Nice play by Kent.
Stepped back to the ball, and another Georgetown turnover.
And that had to be delightful right there for Rashad Kent, huh? Bringing it up.
Oh, yeah, the big guys like to handle it. Greer.
Nice stagger for him and good open look.
Billet comes off a nice screen from the free throw line and dumps it in.
I think if they run plays, they'll score. Just get in their sets and execute it, and maybe that's one of the adjustments Kevin made at halftime.
Anthony Perry, who took only 2 shots in the first half. He was Georgetown's leading scorer last year.
And he is a scorer, so he does need shots. It's not that he's a pure stroker. Look at this. Once again, ecstasy.
A little Anthony Mason going on here. Billet weaves his way in. A little strong with a jumper. Kept alive by Greer, and he dumps it in.
And a quick timeout right now by Craig Escherich. They get the house alive, a little more spark, a little more life in RU.
A little more than a minute into the second half. Rutgers has a couple of quick ones, and it was a brief halftime lead. Is now stretched out to 7.
And unfortunately for Georgetown, the quick rush at the other end, the jumper, the turnover on the inbounds, and then the counter on that particular trip. But this is the stagger screen. Actually, 3 of them. And Freed, an extraordinary deep shooter, 38% from 3. And Todd continues to light it up.
Georgetown's tired of the Billets doing that. Go back a couple of years.
One bullet after another.
Rapid fire bullets. Well, anyway, George Washington against Xavier is coming up next. And George Washington, both teams are chasing the Atlantic 10 West, chasing Dayton. And that's been quite a chase because Dayton's having a great year for Oliver Purnell. But this game, you get a chance to see Servalian Brown, the leading scorer in the nation.
Stanley, one of the outstanding performers in that league as well. For Dayton, no turnaround jumper away from traffic. And a push, they got Greer. Oh, what a
great pass from Billet to Greer. Boomshay with the foul. Wow, a nice bounce pass there.
I'll tell you what, I thought that was a heck of a block as well. I'm having a bad night officiating.
Well, let's take a look.
How about this bounce pass? There's always going to be a little action. Now watch this now. Well, there's always going to be a little body. I guess he did get him. Can't argue with Donnie Gray, but off the dribble, a little pizzazz on that one. And Greer just sprinting all out to present the passing lane.
And making it pay as well.
Georgetown's one of those teams, if you can rebound because they attack the glass in numbers, you can get leakouts.
Everyone's going after that basketball when it hits the glass, as it does quite often.
Central trip here. Got to go inside, I think.
This match is the largest lead of the game for Rutgers. Boomshay again. Scruggs gets some contact, fires it back in. Boomshay up, dances around and drops.
And Scruggs with a nice play, hanging with it. A little pump fake.
Jones finds Greer, comes up firing and buries a 3.
And the defense was tardy. No challenge. Hunter with the hands down.
10 for Greer, and this is the largest lead of the game at double digits, rather. Boomshay in his traffic. Kent thought he had a steal.
They may give this to Dabney. Let's say no. They give it to Rashad Kent. And the ball bouncing all over.
He looked like Bo Jackson after scoring a touchdown against Seattle that time.
He doesn't believe this. But the anticipation, there's a little body there. And oh my goodness, that's an awfully tough call from a distance. And the sprint out, he can't believe it. He thought he's one of those big guys that does come up with steals. Around 2 a game.
And Kent has to check out right now, and Joel Salvi comes back in. Anthony Perry for three. It's short. Comes right back to Braswell. To Perry.
Oh, I should have
dumping it into Boomshay. Boomshay turns around short. Oh, it's Scruggs again. Gets up and taps it in.
How good was that with the left hand? They got to hit it hard on the glass and don't give him the open looks.
Nobody recognized Billet coming down. Everyone was running to their spot. And Billet just says, you know what? I got a little space here.
And right now it's fragile. Inside, I don't know if it's Dabney now.
Yep, that's Dabney with that foul.
You talk about no flow to a game. And some of this stuff I think you got to back off as an official. But right here, you're fragile because you're not identifying the shooters. You're not getting through screens that time. Just a push, the dribble, and backing off, and nobody picking up the dribble. You had Burton on one side, Braswell on the other. Burton with the follow here.
Big rebound off the miss by Perry. Billet again with the bounce pass into Salvi. Scruggs trying to stay with him. Back out to Greer. Now Burton in his face. Puts it down to right. Back outside to Jones in the reset. Jones gets it. Comes up firing for three off the mark. Boomshay gets fouled going for the rebound.
Right. He does get his money's worth. The big fella lays a little wood.
Kareem Wright, 6'9" and a freshman. Doesn't get a lot of playing time, but they like what they have for the future.
Right. Happy-go-lucky guy. He was chatting with Kevin Bannon today after practice.
Boomshay turned the elbows right into Wright. And then, they call the walk. Nice job by Wright defensively.
Shot selection, so important. You get pushed underneath, and good use of the body to get him deep enough. And I'm not so sure he did walk, but it would have ended up in a tough shot.
Yeah. The release wasn't going to be good. Victor Samnick comes back in as Lee Scruggs goes to the bench.
Little defense here, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Samnick is a very good defender. Jones, nice dunk down for Wright. Boomshay picks up another foul.
And Kevin Braswell should have picked up the charge. Standing right there, all he had to do was take the hit. Right here, the early push. Now, as he crosses over, watch on the pass what happens. See what I mean? He would have knocked them clear out. They would have the ball going the other way. The little things that are going to help your team.
So Wright goes to the line. Chance to get it back up to a double-digit lead for Rutgers.
And Kareem at 44%. A struggle. Excuse me.
It works both ways, I guess.
I beg to differ.
Now 9 different Scarlet Knights have scored. But when a good free throw shooter gets up there, and we talk about how good he is, they usually miss. So maybe it works the opposite way. Mercersburg Academy.
One of those prep situations where guys get a chance to learn the game and also improve academically.
11-point Rutgers lead once again. Perry to the baseline. Floater off the glass, no good. Boomshay had his hands on it, loses it, and gets fouled. Wright's on the floor, just trying to get the loose ball. He winds up committing the foul.
I'm sure he doesn't want to get fouls down and dirty. A little more physical up top, but you can just see Anthony Perry trying to force the issue a little bit here. Very tough delivery, but when you haven't scored and you are in a scoring mentality, once in a while you'll rush them. Nice little pass.
Boomshay had a little more room than I think he thought he did.
Pretty good selection, but he didn't finish.
Billet to Greer, comes up firing for three and buries it.
And Billet lets the house know he's giving it up early and often.
14-point lead right now for Rutgers. They're largely the game. Braswell trying to answer. Almost a turnover. Tough entry pass in there for Boomshay, and Wright gets the foul.
The takedown. Of course, he could lean on anybody and take him down. Number 3, as Kareem, probably a little fatigued, trying to post up and play some D.
Right now, it's Rutgers showing the depth on the bench. 9 different Scarlet Knights have scored in this game, and they've stretched a 3-point halftime lead up to 14. There's a look at the scoring by half. 17-6 run here for Rutgers. And Georgetown just struggling terribly. Rutgers doing a great job. Pump fake and then throws it up with Braswell and misses everything. Billet now into traffic.
Nice job fan dribbling and getting organized.
Salvi into the paint. Oh, nice job to get there, but can't drop it down. Freeman with the rebound finds Braswell. Braswell's coming up gunning again off the mark. No rebounders under there except for Scarlet Knights. Greer gets up.
Now you got to make sure you get a real good shot or get to the foul line, and that's where Georgetown gets in trouble in games like this. You're going to lose contact and be out of it. Pound it in. Take advantage of the big guys, and you'll have balance.
Salvi now. Dumps it off to Jones. Nice move. Crossover. Goes in and slams it down.
Wow. Oh, look askance. And along came Jones.
Right at Ruben Boomshay.
That's looking you in the eye, huh?
Whoa.
Finishing with authority.
And the foul's going to be in the back again as Kareem Wright can't figure out why. Look at this.
And this is, as you noted, the crossover. Look at this. Bing, bing. Pick up the lingerie. And negate the long arm of Georgetown's law. That's with reckless abandon.
Number one fan. Mother looking on. With the crowd on their feet. It's nice when you're local and you can have family come to all your games.
Well, mom and dad here at each one of them.
A little lane violation. They wipe it out. Georgetown, nothing's going right for the Hoyas right now.
Not at all. And Craig over there trying to rotate offense and defense. Coming with Anthony Perry now.
Going to take Nat Burton out of the game.
Well, they need just some solid defense to offensive situations, like create turnover, like early push. Here's a 2-2-1, sort of passive. And they stay right in the zone.
Greer with it into the middle to Salvi, back out to Greer.
And Salvi makes good judgments in there. He'll either shoot it or kick opposite.
Jones from outside, no good. Oh, kick though, gets back up, knocks it in.
He's large, but quick off the puppies.
Now 10 different Scarlet Knights have scored.
And the zone 2, nobody able to identify him. Now, usually it's Georgetown with a rotation of people with a lot of scores. Nice pass.
Braswell into traffic there.
Raymond Jones on the tag.
Rutgers foul on number 3, Joel Salvi.
The corner jumper with the screen, and you just don't stand still once you screen. You get to the rim, and you can see nobody contacting the large body. Yeah, good read by the big fella, and able to finish. That's pretty quick for his size.
Braswell to the line. Victor Samnick returns to the game.
Now, incidentally, that hockey picture, and I've seen a few of you. How come you're always immobile? And do you ever do any skating, or did your brother take care of that?
My brother did. My brother Bernie did most of the skating. I just kind of stood around and waited for somebody to drop the gloves.
NHL fame, your brother.
Yeah.
And you were scratching them. The surface, were you close?
To the NHL? Oh, yeah. My brother bought me a ticket one time.
Oh, that's close enough. Well, right now, Georgetown looking to scratch a little bit themselves, and it's got to happen from this end, I think. Give them some spark.
Look at that shooting. They shot 31% in the first half, and it's worse in the second half. So that's the type of night it's been. Freeman reaches in on Flores and commits the foul.
And that's even there, recognizing what defense are we in. Freeman knew they were in a zone. Don't gamble like that. You've got people in the back. Don't foul.
Just team foul number 3 on the Hoyas, though.
Good screen in.
Billet launching from the baseline, just won't stay down. Then we got a clear out underneath. It's going to go against Lee Scruggs. And that's the 4th team foul now. Reese Gibson gets up off the bench for Georgetown.
Now, Georgetown can't get any rhythm. And that little foul on Scruggs looked like clean play, ready to go out the other way.
Yeah, Luis Gibson and Boomshay return to the game. Flores comes off a screen shoot. Oh, Kent! A little showtime that didn't go down. Now Braswell on the break. Gonna take it right to the glass and drop it.
Kent, they look like Clark Kent, huh? Oh, Superman, elevating.
Flores took down the goal with that one.
Oh, is that impressive?
Braswell now with 19 points. Flores picks up his dribble and finds Salvi. Salvi jumps into the paint and drops it in.
He does a nice job understanding the defense, where to be, what to do. His fraternity brothers there gonna have to get a new look.
I was gonna say, yeah, next game. Billet reaches in, almost had that one. Tough shot. Freeman puts that one up. And that's kind of what Georgetown has been throwing. Still Hoyas basketball. Now that's going to get turned over.
Yeah, they get organized. They got it right. A lot of referees here tonight.
You're not kidding. And a lot of them wearing red, too.
You know, the band hasn't been into it either. You get the feel it's not as emotional an atmosphere.
Not as much as I thought it would be.
Going back to the Seton Hall game, which may have been the pinnacle of excitement in this building.
Jersey against Jersey. Jones now to Billet.
The battle of the Star Ledger. Jerry Eisenberg, very involved, famed columnist. And they built it up. Next year they got to go through it twice. It'll be interesting. Nice deal here. And that's what they need. Generate a little from that end.
And on the floor, Flores comes in right at Boomshay. Boomshay finds Jones no good. Kent again crashing the glass. Braswell is ahead of everyone. Comes up shooting, drops it in.
Now that's their game. And the crowd not agreeing at all as they thought a lot of bang went on the glass. But they've got to persist now, Georgetown. The zone, a little bit of an influence, but turnover is key, I think, or at least long jumpers to look at this penetration.
Zone. And that's against a zone.
Yep.
You don't always see easy drive to the basket like that against the zone.
Well, that body that he has is so powerful. He can sort of split defenders and still finish.
Boomshay gets fouled by Salvi or Kent.
I'll give you Salvi.
Yeah, you got it right.
Trying the top side.
That's his third.
It has been key that Kevin Bannon has been able to use his bench as much as he has, because he really hasn't gotten anyone in serious foul trouble trying to stop Boomshay because he just shuffles somebody else in.
And they've done it nicely with the double, the trap in there on occasion, just to try and inhibit him. When he's gotten it, he's always had people around him.
Mike Thompson comes back in, and he had a terrific run in the first half.
Great contribution by Mike. First saw Kevin play at St. Peter's College here in New Jersey. That's going back a few years ago. Terrific guard out of Verona, and then later Ryder, Trenton State, and then Ryder.
Rattles that one down. Now, Kevin Bannon has a relationship with you. Your lovely wife, Joni. Her dad, I understand, was an obstetrician somewhere in North Jersey.
Yes, he was.
And delivered Kevin Bannon.
And two things I know. One, he was a heck of a doctor. And two, he still has the care. The cash is still hidden, I should say. But Kevin all smiles, yes. My wife Joan's dad. And John McDonough on the truck as well. Family doesn't brag about John as much as they do Kevin, I might add.
John's the man calling all the pictures, folks, directing the job. And there's Kevin Bannon. Obviously picked up his basketball knowledge third hand. Well, Rutgers now sitting at a 59-45 lead. Both teams struggled on offense in the first half. But in the second half, Dante Jones has come up.
This is the guy I think could be a killer. A little kiss. His great strength you alluded to earlier against the zone. How about the crossover? Charge to the 10. I mean, he can be aggressive. I think it's his spirit, his example that could make this team a legitimate basketball team in the next couple of weeks. He's got a fire, a desire within him. And Chris's mom, all smiles, too, at the last couple of attempts. But he can light up, getting a little blow right now.
All 6 of his points coming here in the first 9 minutes of this half. Rutgers in all kinds of problems right there.
Now, here's one of my rules here. 29 seconds, right? If it were another league, the NBA, in 4 seconds, it would be a violation.
Yes, it would.
But they get a full 10.
That's right.
So
I
it
agree
really
on that one,
hampers the defense, or
You're not rewarded.
They're not paid homage, correct.
And now Hunter trying to stay with Billet and fouls him, and it's hard for that call not to be made.
And that's one of those, you just got a little more of an effort. You get to the sideline.
It's just the 15th foul on the Hoyas, so no 1-and-1 yet for Rutgers.
And Joel Salvi looking on at a Silver Spring. Marlon, you know this is important to him.
Oh, yeah.
Nice denial by Boucher.
Boucher almost took steps with it, and he had legs that long to keep one on the floor.
Let's see if they use him now or make an attempt to get it close to the 10.
Hunter now.
Look at Kent wearing on Boucher, though. Nice screen across. Nice use of the body, huh?
Boucher well away from the basket. Now moves into the paint. Tough shot, but gets bumped. Kent again. That's 4 on Kent, so he's the first player to be 1 foul away from getting out of the game.
And John, you mentioned how now look how far he roots him out. Now somebody should have been down there dragging at the dribble. He did his job. The top guys have to come down and snap at the basketball. Kent doesn't get the 4th foul. They might be going the other way.
There's going to be a change if this free throw is made. As Dabney's going to come back into the game.
Have you noticed over the years how long it takes big guys to formulate an offensive game and philosophy? And you feel that way when the more you watch Ruben Boucher. He's getting there. He's coming. It's one of those, just keep hanging there, coach. I'm going to give you something. I think he will.
The other thing you see a lot with Georgetown big men is they spend so much time getting hacked and moved around. When they get to the NBA, and they have a little more freedom, they're even better there. I mean, you think of Jahidi White, what a great job he's doing with Washington right now.
Othello as well. I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, he's a high school All-American. We didn't see much.
Right.
Alonzo with Dikembe once in a while, you'd say, well, what's going on here?
Exactly.
But they just keep progressing.
Perry with it now, dumps it off for Braswell. Been quiet lately.
And Dabney with a good discard. Look at Boucher. He keeps digging.
And Dabney battling and backs it off now. Anthony Perry puts it on the floor to drive, gets it high up the glass. Boucher, big rebound. And he dances it down.
Major league rebound, John. Very impressive. And almost a steal by Perry, and they get that little small change. They're getting close, though, with those gambles.
The lead is down to 11.
Well, if you don't get the ball, turn and pin your guy. That's what Boucher does here. Great elevation, big-time snatch, and then the soft, deft delivery.
The next foul for Georgetown will put Rutgers into the 1-and-1, but Rutgers already at 10 team fouls, and Georgetown's in the double bonus, so advantage for them there.
And here's that little look, 2-3 look. Flat 3-2, basically.
Flores gets up, almost goes down. Boucher might have had a piece of that.
And a nice little tip by him as well.
Braswell now. Flores picks him up. Perry to Boucher battles his way in, gets it up, and gets fouled.
And, you know, Lee Scruggs has a great attitude, John. He posted up. Braswell didn't even look at him. And instead of staying and pouting, he jumped to the top of the key. Now that gives the big guy room to roam. And Kevin, for one reason or another, decided not to give it in. And you see Scruggs now, here's the post up on the left side. Coming into your camera, he didn't stay down there with his big guy to create damage, gave an opening for Boucher.
Here's a look at Lee Scruggs. He didn't join Georgetown until December the 26th. Transfer out of junior college, and they really wanted to bring him along slowly. But they realized they had something.
Well, the numbers Kevin matched may be fortuitous in the next 10 minutes because Georgetown's coming a little bit. You see if your fresh guys are out there. You can see the foul problems now mounting quickly.
Well, you got big guys too. You got guys who are trying to handle Boucher. And so that's going to be interesting to see what happens the rest of the way as Ruben goes to the bench and Victor Samnick comes back in.
And John, if I've seen any difference than earlier in the year, thinking back to the Miami game, it's they are giving touches inside more, and it punishes the defense.
Rutgers with not much problem beating that press.
They got a man look here.
Braswell all over Greer. Salvi with it now. Dumps it inside. Dabney turns around and Scruggs stuffed him.
Oh, my goodness. That belongs to me. That one never got airborne.
That's what happens when you have arms that long. Samnick comes up shooting well off the mark. Salvi grabs the rebound. And Billet now. Three-pointer for Billet. Buries it.
Now, John, therein lies the story of the game. Scruggs was going from one box to the other. They didn't give a chance to set. Samnick lines it up. Nothing. Come down. Don't identify. Here he comes again.
Hunter to the baseline. Dabney in his way. Jump ball. Possession arrow is Rutgers.
And there's another example of not utilizing your big people. Go. Step up and play the little guy. Get his number. 2-2. Shoots a little nylon and nobody addressing him. Of course, they're happy about it.
That's what we expected. Very calm. Salvi went right at Scruggs. Scruggs backed off and Salvi came up empty. Braswell for three. Grazes the twine.
3 trips.
Ball.
3 trips now, John. Nothing.
Well, 3 trips with quick shots where they didn't entertain getting the ball anywhere near the post.
And then Scruggs is down the other end, wasn't even involved in the play.
Right. So the lead now at 13 after Georgetown shaved it down to 11. Billet, nice move to split between defenders.
It was. Almost turned it into a numbers break.
And the crowd appreciated it. Oh, Salvi wasn't looking. He was making a cut. And the offensive foul goes against Victor Samnick.
Tell you what, got to be hit a little harder to go down. A little pratfall.
Victor's not quite perhaps big enough to do this to draw Salvi.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just let him play. I mean, guys are going to fall like that. He, I'm sure, is uncomfortable when the call goes against his team, but I'm not so sure it should have been a play on. They happen to end up with the basketball as well with Scruggs on the foul line.
Exactly. Again, Georgetown going to try and pressure the ball and force a turnover.
Now, this is the old days, isn't it? Ball out, skirmish, keeping the backcourt, turn it to the middle. They got a perfect trap here. Good step through.
And again, the quick pressure on the ball. Brown with it now. They've made him take a lot off the clock. Burton staying with Brown. Brown finally drops it off. Salvi now. Greer moves.
And who they give it to? A little small change by Hunter.
Yep, with 8 seconds on the shot clock. So you do 27 seconds of tremendous defense, and a foul just tosses it out the window.
Tough defensively to know the clock, but you got to have a feel for it.
Jeff Greer.
Greer goes to the line, and Hunter goes to the bench.
Well, Kevin, what, 5 and 7 in the league, they need one badly. Would bring them to 15-11, and conversely, Georgetown has played better basketball in dire need of this one as well at 15 and 10 and 5 and 7 in the league.
Well, the thing as a coach that I imagine you can do at this point, you're not, with the types of records that Rutgers and Georgetown have, you're not to the point where the season is lost. You're still saying to these guys, you know what, we can make the NCAA tournament. Now, a lot of people might not believe that, but as a coach, you got to sell that. And with these records, you're capable of doing that.
They get a deflection, yeah.
Again, the crowd responds. There are a lot of officials in this building tonight, and Rutgers sitting on a 15-point lead. Rutgers with his 15-point lead over Georgetown. A lot of people don't realize, Bill, the history that is involved here. Rutgers, this is a huge basketball historical school. And Jim Valvano, our late great partner and lover of life. And
dear
everything.
friend of yours as well.
Absolutely. He was in a backcourt with Bob Lloyd. Bob Lloyd was All-American, and Jim got him the ball.
with regularity, too, because Bob just filled it up when the leading scorers in the nation. And, of course, Jimmy with the fire and spirit, and that's what Kevin Bannon is trying to recapture a little bit here. Tom Young had it going as well. You saw Phil Sellers in that frame.
Yep.
So that all started with the Valvano-Lloyd era. Bill Foster, the coach in those days.
And Bob and Jimmy are still in the backcourt together because although we miss Jim, Bob is helping us run the V Foundation, and Bob Lloyd has his number retired here. And you would know better than me. Bob Lloyd was pretty darn good.
Oh, he's a great. The uniform, I don't think would fit right now. He's in great shape. No, he is in great shape. Beats you with regularity on the golf course.
Down in Hawaii, just relaxing right now.
Of course, not me with regularity because I don't play with him all the time.
You're smart.
But a great history here. And he played in the ABA. Outstanding success story both with family and business. But right now, creeping away once again on Georgetown. Nice pass. What the penetration. Send it in.
That's, one of the few easy baskets Georgetown has gotten. And you really think of Georgetown with a swarming defense that it was the Rutgers having problems getting to the rack. But Dabney takes it right at Boomshay. Scruggs had the rebound. Perry chases it down. Braswell now.
Again, a good look. Nice pass. Whoops. Oh, no. He just didn't get up high enough as he got deep. But once again, Braswell, that's more of what he can do for this team. Draw attention and dish. And that time he got himself to the line. Little hesitation. Same hand change. And look at this. Draws two. And Lee, unfortunately, on the bottom end. And that's one of those on the bus ride. You're going to hear it a little bit from your buddies.
Without question. That's when all you can do is smile and say,
right.
Oh, well.
I know my folks still love me.
Braswell, who shoots at the free throw line at about 76%, misses that.
And he's the one guy, though, offensively. Occasional quick jack here and there, but pretty solid. 7 for 16.
7 of 11 now from the line. Georgetown with time to work this thing, but they got to find a way to get defensive stops and a way to start scoring.
Tried the zone for a while now. Straight up minute. Nice back cut by Salvi. Here's their step and go. Here's 1-4 look now, John. They've not gotten the back door of the guard around. Pretty solid defense by Georgetown, but you got to identify that guy.
Billet for three, no good, but Dabney chases down and comes up limping a little bit. Remember, he's got that bad ankle. Greer now has an opening, and then, whoops, nope, it was there.
And Smart, too, with the clock.
Get out. Greer, three-point shot on the way, short. Boomshay had the rebound and went right between his legs and out of bounds.
Well, that's sort of their night, huh? Did a great job screening off, just didn't squeeze the pineapple.
Well, that about sums it up. We've got a 30-second timeout call.
Anthony Perry will return for the Hoyas.
Well, when you get into league play, John, it's the little things that step up. And a guy like Joel Salvi, he offers everything up every moment he's on the floor. Little penetration here, doubled up earlier. He exudes what it's all about at the college level. The jump stop. Great teammate. Helps out. Loves to win. And getting so much out of his college career. I mean, he's a hero at this institution right now.
Without question. And he just has such a great work ethic. And that's what you do. You lead by example when you're one of the older players there. But these guys have to go out tomorrow and come up with new wigs. Because these are not cutting it. They got to get the braids.
That's right, the RU on the cheek. And he had the ponytail, he told me, against St. Joe's early. That would really throw this group off.
Without question.
And I slipped there, screened down by Salvi.
Billet loses the handle, it goes out of bounds. Anthony Perry tonight, 0 for 8 from the field. Now this is a guy who's the all-time leading scorer at St. Anthony's. And that's a school that's had some pretty good players there.
My goodness, when you think of the Hares of the world, the Walkers, the Hurley himself, the Hurleys. There's Danny here. I mentioned to Kevin Bannon about Danny, and he said, you know what? He's going to be a star in this business. His background, his understanding of the game, how he relates with players, and a proud daddy. He's got him doing chin-ups. He's only a couple of months old.
But do you have any answers as to why Anthony Perry is struggling so much in his scoring average? Last year he led the team about 14 points a game. He's down to 10 and just does not look comfortable shooting the ball.
I think one is coming here, trying to press a little for the home folks. I know he's got family here. Danny said his mom was coming down, not only to see Rutgers, but to see Anthony. That's part of it. And just not shooting the ball well all year. Now, if you want somebody to show you how to stroke the ball, it's Danny Hurley. So maybe after this one, he might have some suggestions.
I don't think so. You never know when you might meet again.
That's true.
Down the road.
And that happened in the tournament. Todd Billet able to, or excuse me, Jeff Greer able to beat Georgetown in the Big East a couple of years ago.
So the Hoyas coming with the pressure again. Braswell chasing down Billet. Salvi comes to the ball. Samnick trying to stay with him. Salvi with a nice move. Nice dump down for Kent. He loses it. Oh, still belongs to the Hoyas.
Got to catch it, though. No bad penetration. Rutgers doing an excellent job now of using clock, making good decisions, and on tap.
George Washington and Xavier in the Atlantic 10. Foul on Anthony Perry.
I'll tell you what, I don't know why some of these fouls are called. I mean, it's... I mean, if you call those fouls, you know, then you get into the shooting situation where there is a bang. I don't know.
Jeff Greer.
You're into that double bonus. So, you know, you can take the coach away from the sidelines, but you can't take the coach out of the man who's sitting next to him.
That was a good denial by Anthony Perry in the corner. The ball was inbounded. Maybe some contact. I don't know if it was necessitated a whistle. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you what. If you throw your jacket, like you used to do when you're coaching Seton Hall, you start throwing your jacket from the broadcast booth.
Well, now they're paid for, though. A little push by Kent. Now they're paid for, though. So I don't throw them.
Or you don't get fined for them.
That's true. You can't get escorted out of the building.
44, Rashawn Kent. That's his 5th personal.
That's 5 on Kent, so he's the first to foul out of the game. Look at the number of fouls called in this game, and we're at the 2-hour mark of being on the air, and there's still 5.5 to go in this thing.
And the beat continues, too.
Yeah, there's no reason to think it's going to change.
No.
Kareem Wright is going to come into the game. And he's taking his time doing just that.
Kareem Wright.
And they use all of the 30. And you mentioned also the rotation. It's been helpful for Kevin Bannon for such a situation.
George Washington and Xavier coming up. Important match. Both those teams are chasing Dayton. And Oliver Purnell has got it going there. They're a fun team to watch.
And I'm sure Skip out there at Xavier saying, we beat Cincinnati. You know, can we recapture any of that?
And here, John Saunders and Bill Raftery. Here, the Rack, as they call it affectionately here in Piscataway. Boomshay knocks them both in. And gets Georgetown back to its 12.
I mean, this is doable. Play solid. A tournament, and you may have something.
Greer now finds Billet. Perry steps out to him. And that's one thing you got to be impressed with Perry. He struggled offensively all year, but his defensive game, he's kept that up.
Man, the double, he is hustling. Reach in by Burton.
Yeah, ill-advised reach in. He's right next to where the ball came in, and that's what caused the reach.
And 15 seconds, just like you mentioned earlier.
Well, don't forget an ESPN doubleheader on Thursday. Purdue against Michigan. Michigan finally got a win to end that 7-game streak. Boilermakers back in the top 25. And Michigan won at Purdue on the 8th of January. And then Marquette and South Florida. South Florida, one of those teams in Conference USA that you look at their record and they're going to start arguing we need to be in the NCAA tournament. I think they got to put a few more wins together, though.
You do? Yeah. And, of course, the conference tournament. Or can anybody beat Cincy in that conference tournament? That's what I want to know.
No. I don't think there's anybody in that conference.
So you didn't deliberate long, did you?
No, although Cincinnati should be thankful they don't have to face Temple
in that zone
twice a year.
What a wonderful performance. John Chaney's guys with Pepe back, I mean, there's total extension for him. Pepe Sanchez.
Another one of the examples of how the NCAA tournament, when they're doing seedings, will look and say, well, I mean, they were just 5-3 without Sanchez. He only lost one game with him.
Nice step in by Greer. Of course, Billet. Good pressure on Perry.
Burton dumps it into Boomshay. Boomshay, that was a tough pass to catch. Braswell gets fouled.
The little guy in the mix down there. Now, Rutgers has got to do a solid job and make the clock go, obviously, and then don't put him on the foul line, because now it sets up the pressure. And one of these times, inadvertent pass, a little slippage, you're going to get a run out.
It gets longer with the fouls. Every foul is a two-shot foul now, regardless.
And a 76% free throw sure is going to be handling it most of the time in Kevin Braswell. A little difference, huh?
Yeah, it's different, unfortunately, for him, though, at another factor on the scoreboard, and that is that the Hoyas are trailing. Big. Although, once again, within 11, they've crept to 10 to 11 to 12, and they can't get it to single digits. Braswell, nice tip from behind. Hunter has to pick up his dribble. Boomshay to Braswell. Braswell to the free throw line. Oh! He's going to say, great pass. Did you see that pass?
I think he pulled the string, but never alert. And right now, Kevin Bannon alert as well, knowing that they're hanging around. And one thing with a pressing team, if they have that ability to deflect, they just don't get it turned around. But how about this one? Boomshay doing what he's supposed to do. Get around the rim. And nice anticipation on the short little shot. Kevin Braswell. Well, if you're related to Kevin, you say it's a look. If you're not, a pretty good gather by Boomshay.
Gathers it, sends it in. Boomshay, who struggled early, now has 20 points and 8 rebounds. So he's on his way to another double-double. And that must be part of the reason why Georgetown has closed this thing down to 9 with all kinds of time left. And this place has got extremely quiet.
And a lot of people left thinking it was over.
Right.
And as you noted, they just seem, because of the length of their bench, stretch the game out. They're willing to concede some giveaways. And this is more like the days of old with the full court. The only difference is no big guy on the inbound there as Braswell plays Billet.
Jones up to midcourt, trying to lose net Burton. Jones now into the paint, dumps it down to Flores. Oh, nice cut to Salvi. Oh, that was pretty.
It was a great read by Joel, too, and a wonderful, catchable bounce pass.
Scrubs with it. Into the paint, turns, drops it in.
Tough out in there.
Again, the Hoyas trying to deny. Salvi comes to the ball. Greer. Nice leak out. He's got Flores with it. Doesn't need it. Takes it right at the iron.
Nice little slide by.
Braswell. Down for Scruggs. I think it was meant for Hunter.
I do too. Lee, Willie, and Abel.
Now, Rutgers will be thrilled to trade baskets this way. They're having no problems beating this press. And they're getting easy looks at the other end.
But it's one of those, you're a mistake away from danger. And we got to be careful. Clock to a good one. Not late. Don't hold it till late.
Salvi to Billet. Backs it back out. Greer now.
Side
Off
pick
the
and roll.
screen and then tries to take it in. Braswell got a piece of it. Jones comes up firing for three. And that's a dagger.
A little unease. From along came Dante Jones. All penetration. Excuse me, John.
And Craig Estrick wants a timeout. Now he backs it off. Now first signal for a timeout.
A little shove back. Not necessary, huh?
It's 4 on Salvi now.
That's a fatigued little Tavern League shove.
Rutgers has just answered every run Georgetown has had.
Lee Scruggs will shoot 2.
Big upside on this guy, John.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's got good hands. Looks like he can handle it in traffic as well. And a little post and deep threat.
14 points, 11 rebounds for Lee Scruggs. Victor Sandnick comes back in.
Very efficient evening, wouldn't you say?
He's been giving them games like that just about every trip out since they started to go to him. They wanted to break him in easy, but they haven't been able to do that this year. And now Billet chased by Braswell. And a little push on the floor. Braswell can't believe the call.
Well, you got to believe it because it's been going that way all night. A little small changers. Right now, Georgetown's susceptible to a back cut. Very aggressive out front. Craig's guys out playing passing lanes. You might see a little step and go by Rutgers.
Billet goes to the line. And again, it's an 11-point lead, so these are key free throws. Now 12. 14 points, and now 15 points for Billet to go with 5 assists. Billet pretty knocks them both in. 2:27 to go. Dante Jones didn't score in the first half, but boy, has he made up for it here in half number 2. Well, Rutgers trying to put the finishing touches on a win over Georgetown, which would get them within 1 game of 500 in the Big East. And don't forget, tomorrow in the Big East, Villanova, they think they got a hunt for getting in that field of 64 against Syracuse, who, after being undefeated for 19 straight, have dropped 3 of their last 5. North Carolina and Florida State. North Carolina trying to avenge a loss to a Florida State team that has been struggling this year. And in danger this 33 straight ACC top 3 finishes.
That is incredible. I watched that Virginia-Carolina game the other night. It looked like Carolina was going to have that old great finish, but Pete Gillen's guys sustained.
Jones comes out of there with that rebound after Doomsday bricked it. Braswell steps up. The Hoyas need turnovers. And they need missed opportunities to have a chance to shave this down with about 2 minutes left now.
And all good handlers out there at this point. Even the size guy, Joel Salvi.
Billet sees an opening and goes right to the glass.
And they lifted a boom shake. And that may have been it, John.
Well, 18 points for Billet now. Hunter for 3. Off the mark, no good. Hunter gets it back. Braswell wanted it outside the arc. Sandnick goes in. Doomsday with the rebound. Uses the glass. It's good.
And they kill the timeout.
30-second timeout called by the Hoyas. Well, you talked about the night that Todd Billet is having, and you mentioned his brother, the #9 all-time scorer here at Rutgers. But he'll be remembered by the Hoyas for something else. In 1998 Big East quarterfinals, down to the final seconds. Hoyas leading by 1. How many looks at it do you think the Hoyas?
I bet that was the old Kodak Instamat bang, bang. I happened to be at that particular game, and the joy in New Brunswick, extraordinary after that. Jumper, I'm sure the whole career, a wonderful career, he'll remember that the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
As his folks will as well.
And Noreen and Lou are going to like the numbers that Todd has put up tonight. 18 points, 6 of 11 from the field, and 5 assists as well. And more importantly, he's done a nice job handling the basketball, breaking the press.
Sure hasn't protected it, not turn it over. A team that's good recovering Georgetown and deflecting. Makes it tough on the point guard.
Billet now as Perry tries to hound him. Salvi bumps out there. Sandnick now on the switch.
Something might trap him though, John. What do you think? Get a little rotation. A tough look. And Greer's done that a number of times. Bring it back out with 10 left.
Billet goes in, loses it. Oh, Doomsday trying to get it out on the break. Greer just picks it off and lays it in.
And Doomsday just couldn't get up quick enough to recover. Well, the rack wasn't the influence tonight. was just solid basketball. And you mentioned ball handling, not turning it over.
Samnick knocks down the baseline jumper, and Georgetown gets a timeout.
Timeout gets a move.
Those are a rough crowd, I'm telling you. You know, we talked about Jeff Billet and his younger brother Todd, who's now here, and Kevin Bannon talked about having the Billets back-to-back.
And it's wonderful to be able to coach another Billet. Jeff was just an incredible guy in this program, and you know, the records speak for themselves, all the great things that Jeff did here. But Todd comes in, and he has a whole new identity. He's our point guard. He's a bit more of a point guard than Jeff probably was. He's shown great leadership as a freshman, put up big numbers, and run this team. And this is a league full of the best point guards in the country, and he's held his own with every single one of them.
Well, let's go head-to-head here and look at the freshman years. And younger brother going to have a little bragging rights.
He sure will, in every category.
Wow, that's going to make it tough on Jeff now.
Well, the assists he ran away with. Of course, nobody is more proud, huh?
Yeah, you would hope the older brother would be proud. Although, you know, there's sometimes that they're not always.
No, he is, though. He is.
No, I know. I'm talking about myself. Right?
Oh. A tinge of, huh? Well, when one is better than the other, you occasionally have a lapse. But I don't think that happens in this household.
Jeff Greer on
CBA and coming up.
George Washington and Xavier, it is coming up, we promise. Those of you who have tuned in, this Georgetown Rutgers affair has seen a lot of that. Free throws. A lot of fouls in this game. And in this game that's coming up, you want to see a guy who can score. Sir Valiant the GW and Tom Penders. Well, he likes a guy like that. He likes the guys that put their nose in there, work hard, especially when he's putting up points.
And he lets him go, too. I mean, it's not a guy that'll back off and intimidate. Run the show, take the good shot. Nice double up here. Let's see what they got. No, they got the foul.
And there's a look at the leading scorers. Alexander down at Fresno State.
Eddie House, a house full, and Murph. The serve.
I want to know how Eddie House is not the leading scorer when he's putting up 63 and
well, he had a couple where he went the other way too.
Troy Murphy, some people are starting to whisper that he's one of the best players not only in the Big East but in the country. And he just being at Notre Dame, and Notre Dame coming through some lean years, a lot of people haven't turned as much attention. But if you haven't had a chance to see him, he plays.
Well, the big thing that he possesses, other than the great stroke, is they put him in so many positions now where he can strike fear, whether it's the deep, the medium, the low, on the bounce, and you can't foul him. He's an extraordinary free throw shooter. You have all of those as the guys who work hard get an opportunity,
as well.
Connor Fox out there is there. Tom, longtime high school coach, his grandfather Buzzy. Great coach, legendary at St. Patrick's and Elizabeth.
Kevin Bannon will move within one game of 500. There's Connor.
Take a look. A little airtime.
And Anthony Perry brings it up. Hunter now launching a three-pointer. And as it has much of the night, the Hoyas come up empty. Burton drives and drops it in.
And these guys love to get fouled now, just to get to the line, get a chance.
I want to see my name. Nice drive to the glass by Renaldo Brown. Well, the bench, there's a story here. The Hoyas bench outscored 30-7, which you don't see very often. So Rutgers comes up with a big win, moves within one game of 500 in the Big East as they head to the tournament. Up next, it is George Washington.